never yet managed to stretch it to 4. And Leanderssen needs a win here to make sure it comes back down to 2.
Yeah, this is actually a very important game, not only for Europe but and for Leanderssen as well. And his first shot's pretty good, right in the 1-3 pocket. Nice deep angle of attack. And has left himself the 10-pin, that elusive 10-pin in the corner. The scourge of the right-handed bowler. As you can see, that 6-pin's just jumped right round it.
Should be routine. The 10 tucked away in the corner there. Safely disposed of by the Team Europe captain. So a spare for Thomas. What does Bill Hoffman open up with?
Well, all bowlers obviously like to get off to a good start in frame 1, and a spare or a strike will probably be acceptable. The strike being preferable.
Yes, that's what he got.
Yeah, there was some fingers in that ball, as we say, in the game. Lots of rotation, nice lift and follow through. Got the reaction he was looking for. Nice shot of his shoes as well. Wandering a bit on the approach and missing that foul line quite easily, but that's a fantastic opener from Bill Hoffman.
Does have a very distinctive style, Bill Hoffman. We'll perhaps take a look at that later on in the match. Thomas, very elegant, tall Swede. Very well schooled in the basics.
Yeah, almost everything about Thomas's game is right. Lovely follow through, nice lift and rotation on the ball, and a strike in frame 2.
Yes, and it's interesting, you know, what you say about Thomas, everything in his game is right. I mean, he's just so smooth at the approach, isn't he?
Yeah, a real stroker, absolutely, lifts through the ball nicely. And just a little bit of body language that tells us that was a good shot.
But if he's all smooth, you just watch Bill.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to describe this, this style.
Twisted and around and bent, and he kind of shuffles up there, but it works.
Well, let's see what he can do here again.
Nothing wrong with the style if you're knocking down strikes like that.
No argument, right in the 1-3 pocket. Second shot in a row, and he's talking already. Look, he started.
Well, he does. When he's striking, Bill loves to spread the humour, put a few smiles on faces.
Well, and that, of course, puts pressure back on his opponent. In this case, it's Thomas. Thomas working on a strike, frame 3. Needs the double to stay in touch.
And gets it.
Oh, nice shot, absolutely beautiful.
Well, he doesn't, I mean, I know it's early days, and I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but Thomas doesn't seem to be having the kind of problems finding the line that he's had in earlier matches. He's made a very solid start here.
And that's the commentator's curse coming down from Nick Halling.
Well, let's hope not, for Thomas's sake.
A very fine shot, great shot there.
So here comes Bill. He's working a double.
There's that distinctive little knee bend that he's got. And the very distinctive strike shot that he's got. Opens up with 3 in a row.
So here's Thomas. Just has to stay with Bill. We said this about Hoffman. That record is deceptive. He's a very capable bowler.
Well, this has the potential to be a pretty good game. Both seem to have opened up with strikes, and
streak ends there.
Well,
Thomas stands up.
Thomas has hit that pocket brilliantly again. Fabulous shot. And the 6-pin here again has jumped around.
There's Chris Oates from Poole in Dorset, only 15 years old, and I reckon could be a real rising star in the game. If only he can find a decent football team to support, his future would be very bright.
Yeah, it's nice to see these youngsters coming in and watching the
Yeah, 8 to 10 years time, Cass, we could be talking about him in the Weber Cup. He's real talent, they say. Successful spare from Thomas, and he's come here to learn and just see the best. And that's what a young bowler should be doing. Now, talk about a contrast in styles, just look at this.
Smooth Tomas Leanderssen on the left, upright, follows through, and the slightly distorted Bill Hoffman and that right leg of his. Both very effective though. Nice to see. Here is Bill on frame 4. Perfect so far. And remains so.
Yes, despite you trying to put him off.
No, that was almost in there like something we wear.
5 out of 5 for the Joker. And someone seeking inspiration from a higher authority, I believe.
A baby Joker.
Yes.
Pressure back on Thomas coming into the halfway stage. .21 pins adrift already.
Just has to strike and hope for the best.
Yeah, another nice shot. Unfortunately, he's had a 9 spare in the middle of 3 in a row. It's quite costly.
Now, worth pointing out that Bill Hoffman did have the highest individual score in this particular tournament at 256 until his teammate Mike Mullen came up against Phil Scammell in the last match, and Mullen bowled a 278. And I wonder if Hoffman's thinking, well, I want that high score back again.
I'm going to say nothing as usual with regards to perfect games.
No, you did it. You blew it. You mentioned the P word. But it didn't put Hoffman off. He's in there like swimwear again.
Fantastic shot. Yes, he's against all the odds of the commentator's curse. Bill Hoffman has struck again.
Absolute perfection from the American at the halfway point. Tomas Leanderssen do here. He finds himself adrift by 31 pins, and it's not as if he's bowling badly. He's just up and against an opponent that's on fire. Pocket again and a strike. That's all he can do. He's just got to hang around and hope that Hoffman lets him back in.
Yeah, I think he's just realised that yeah, he's playing well all of a sudden. He just needs a little bit of carry on the odd single pin that he's left, and he would have been perfect as well. Right in the 1-3 pocket, beautiful sweet spot for the right-hander. And yes, have some of that.
Now Hoffman just wants to keep going. Everything's been pretty much bang on, right in the pocket every time for the Cleveland man. Yeah, didn't say uh-oh there, and thought he was a bit concerned, but there didn't look to be much wrong with that when it hit the pocket.
No, maybe he didn't quite hit his mark, but and shouted out something, oh no, or but yeah, right in the pocket again. He's getting the carry. He's not leaving any of these odd 10 pins that tend to stand up, and that's a fantastic 6 in a row. He's halfway there. .31 pin lead for the Americans at the halfway stage, both working on doubles now.
Yes, not as if Thomas is bowling badly at all, as you say. Just a couple of 10s have been left stood up. And he's just sticking with him as best he can.
Yeah, fantastic 3 in a row for Thomas. He is actually bowling very well indeed, but he's come up against the brick wall in Bill Hoffman, who's perfect. 6 strikes in a row, and there's nothing Thomas can do about it. I can't see Bill going backwards at this stage, and Thomas is never going to catch him, the way things are going.
Well, Leanderssen just has to hope that Hoffman either bowls a bad ball or gets an unlucky break. And there's been no sign of either thus far. And unfortunately for Bill, and sadly for all of us, the 10 has robbed us of an opportunity of a perfect game. Not an awful lot wrong with that shot either, though, it has to be said.
No, it's he's getting a bit barracking from team captain Tim Mack. But that's just a little bit light in the pocket, and consequently that 10 pin has stood up.
Now, he hasn't actually had to bowl at a single pin in this match, so just needs to kind of refocus here just to make sure he gets it. Not a problem.
Okay, now Thomas is got to focus in. He's got 2 strikes in a row. In fact, no, he's got 3 strikes in a row, so he needs to keep working. He's not out of this game by any means.
Well, they served up a real thriller last year, and there's something about these 2 players that seems to bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, seem to be really high-scoring matches, and this one is no exception. So come on, Thomas, get it all together. Let's give us another strike.
Heard you.
I'm glad he did.
Top class.
It wasn't the perfect shot. It was a little bit light in the pocket, but he managed to get some pin action. They all span around and away they went. Beautiful cascading action. Yeah, he's not quite sure, but yeah, there it is. Yes, come on.
What about this? A man that bowled 6 strikes in a row is just starting to feel the hot breath of his opponent on his neck. Bill Hoffman needs another strike.
Yeah, Thomas is coming up pretty fast from behind, and Bill's got to keep going. He's no time to relax. But he's pretty locked in.
Yes, right back in again.
Carries the 10. Slid, but unfortunate not to get the last one as well. It's good bowling though.
So there's the difference. Leanderssen just needs to strike. I say just as if it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not, of course. Anything less, and Thomas might have left himself too much to do. He's still 10 adrift. Needs to keep applying the pressure. But honestly, Cass, you see Bill Hoffman bowling like this, and you wonder why his record in the Weber Cup is as patchy as it is. I mean, he's a high-class bowler.
He's taking this game very seriously. He's not sledging at all. Come on, Thomas.
There it goes. Still there. Still alive.
Can't really ask for any better than that. It was an absolutely perfect shot, and Thomas felt good about it, and he was down on one knee to watch that ball go right in the 1-3 pocket. The concentration on his face there. Here we see the body action, and he's down, and that ball's right in the pocket. Fantastic. 5 in a row for the Swede.
So still, Hoffman hasn't shaken him off.
No, he's Bill's got a strike here to maintain a 10-pin lead, and this is going to be another high-scoring game. It's going all the way to the wire.
Now can he get back in the pocket and stay there? Look at that, faultless, absolutely perfect from Bill Hoffman.
Nick, this is pretty hot stuff. These are rock and roll bowlers here. Really high-scoring game. Fantastic for television, and focusing on the sport as it should be played at the highest level.
So frame 10, what Tomas Leanderssen needs to do is just set Bill Hoffman some kind of target. If he can get 3 strikes, or even 2 strikes and a 9, something like that, he's going to make Hoffman work for it, and that's all Leanderssen realistically can do.
He's only 10 pins behind, and they are both working on a double.
There's 1 strike.
Yeah, great pressure bowling from Thomas. Yeah, he's got carried away there. He thought it was only the 9th frame. He's got to stand up and shoot 2 more shots now. He's really getting some fantastic reaction off this lane on this particular game, whereas before he was struggling. He's 209 in the 8th frame. 2 more will give him a 269. Bill, of course, if he strikes out, will be 279. That's the 10-pin difference at the moment. Come on, Thomas, get your game together. Such a pressure shot now, because Team Europe don't need to lose another game.
Yes, another one here for Thomas. No.
Guess what pin it was?
Wow. The one that caused him those early problems.
Yeah, that 10-pin in the corner again. He felt it was good. He was down on one knee. He wanted to watch that ball right in the pocket. And there it goes. That 6-pin just doesn't jump out and take the 10-pin away. So a spare here will give Thomas a 258 game. And he's not won it.
That's incredible. There it is, 258, and it's almost certainly not going to be enough.
It's pressure bowling of the highest calibre.
Well, he's almost there, Bill Hoffman.
He can afford a spare and a 9 spare and a strike and win by a pin.
Just as a side issue, though, and I'm sure Hoffman is not thinking about that. 3 strikes in a row could see him back with the single game high score. 279 is still up for grabs for Hoffman.
He's really locked into this lane.
Wide there.
Oh, well, look at that 7-pin. How unbelievable can that be? Maybe we would have expected the 10-pin, but certainly not the 7. Now this is interesting.
It certainly is.
Well, we could be looking at a tie here with a spare and a strike, 258 apiece.
And that would mean a 9th and 10th frame sudden death shootout.
Well, first of all, he's got to spare this, and then he's got to get a strike, and that will just be the tie.
There's the spare. Now you talk about pressure.
Bill Hoffman needs a strike to tie. And now he's going into joker mode.
Would you believe it at this stage of the game?
As you rightly said, Nick, we'll have a 9th and 10th roll-off. And that could be anybody's game.
But first, to get us to the shootout, Bill Hoffman has to get the strike.
We've seen 10 pins left before, haven't we?
Well, we saw a 7 left last time Bill was up. What does he do? Can he get the strike to take it into overtime? Yes. Brilliant bowling. Look at that.
It's a 258 tie. What a fantastic match. 10-pin bowling of its highest calibre here on television. Yes, have some of that.
So, no shared point here. You've got to have a winner. And to achieve the winner, we're going to have a 9th and 10th frame shootout. 258, these two fellas. I think in many ways, Cat and Bernie White is just getting in there and issuing the instructions.
Sudden death.
Sudden death, you heard the man.
9th and 10th frame to be rebowled with the scores scratch.
I think this was a better match than their one last year, and that was pretty good.
He's first bowler, I guess.
Yes, fantastic high scoring yet again.
Okay. I don't care.
Toss a coin.
They're going to toss a coin to decide who bowls first, which could be quite an important thing. They've only got 2 frames to play each.
Presumably, if they're still tied after 9 and 10, they do it again.
Well, we'll let referee Bernie White decide that, and he's probably going to take a quick check in the rule book before they bowl.
Yes. Bernie's had to put his hand in his pocket, which is a new experience. Yes.
I wasn't going to say that, but I'll point it out later on. Okay, back to the serious stuff. 258 apiece. They've both been blasted in the pocket for the whole of this game. They've now got 2 frames each to decide the winner.
It's the sudden death shootout. Hoffman first. There's the strike.
Fantastic shot. That's what you need to do in a 2-frame roll-off. First blood. But it's no different than what he's been doing all through the game. He's been striking at will.
Well, both of them. I don't think between them they bowled what you'd describe as a bad ball. Everything was in the pocket.
Pressure time for Thomas. Needs at least a mark. That's a spare. Nothing less will do, and a strike will be the best thing.
Oh,
it's gone high.
Yeah, what a time for that to happen.
Yeah, high on the head pin. He didn't need that at all.
And the other thing is the pin count. He's left 3 standing.
And it's that elusive 3-6-10 which we've seen before in this tournament, and hasn't been an easy spare. And as Thomas has been striking at will as well, he's not going to be used to shooting spares, so this could be awkward for him. Must make it.
He does, but now he needs help.
Keeps himself in the match.
Okay. That's how you get rid of that spare, but well, it's Bill's match to win now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure he's been in this position before, and he knows that with a strike to start with, a double could be the nail in the coffin for the European player. And you can bet your life he's going to be going for it, joking or not joking. He needs a strike.
Yeah, well, he's got his game face on as well. He is not joking around here. He might be in a minute.
Ooh, 7 pin. evens things up a little bit.
What an extraordinary match this has been.
He's getting the rotation. Yeah, he's in the pocket, just that little bit high on the head pin, and that 7-pin stands there.
Now he's got to get this.
Certainly has.
You would think in these conditions he will get it. Absolutely no mistake whatsoever.
Of course, Nick, they could actually, I mean, these guys are so good, they could both strike and spare in the 10th frame and still have a tie, yet again.
I know, and then we'll all be looking at Bernie and saying, Mr. Referee, what do we do next?
Well, I'll be looking for a new score sheet as well. I'm running out of frames here. Okay, Bill Hoffman looking for a strike to make 40 in his 2 frames. That's the maximum score he can make.
And this could be significant. Yes, well, unless I'm mathematically incorrect here, that means that Leanderssen can only tie it.
Well, sorry, Nick, I will correct you there, because actually if Thomas shoots 3 strikes in frame 10, he'll score 50.
Oh, right, yes.
So
right.
it's back in the Europeans' hands.
Got a shot.
Yeah, that spare in his first frame wasn't that disastrous. He's got a chance here to shoot 3 strikes.
What does he do if he gets 2 strikes? Could that give him the win as well?
That's 2 strikes and 1 pin will be enough. It will be 41.
But anything less than 2 strikes and Hoffman will win.
That's right.
There's one. Oh, talk about the nerve ends tingling.
Yeah, this is pressure bowling. Thomas hasn't had to face this pressure at all in this tournament, and now he's there with a chance of a victory for Europe. Drawing all his reserves of experience over the years.
And it all comes down to this ball, effectively.
Yeah, this if this is a strike, all he'll need to do is take 1 pin on his last game, on his last shot.
Everything comes down to what Tomas Leanderssen can do with that 16-pound ball in his hand right now. This, for what would effectively be a brilliant win for Team Europe. Anything less, and it's Team USA's point.
Come on, Tommy.
It's gone, it's gone. There it is. Another strike. That is brilliant from Tomas Leanderssen. Gary Verbruggen is there. That is high-class bowling indeed.
Yeah, fantastic double in the 10th frame. He's down on 1 knee, and that's right in the pocket. All pins are gone. He's had a high 5 from Jerry Verbruggen, and he needs 1 pin to win. I can't imagine anything's going to go wrong.
No, surely this is just a formality. There it is. What a comeback from Tomas Leanderssen. What a brilliant game. 2 superb bowlers right on the top of their game. Bill takes it on the chin very sportingly. He certainly wasn't disgraced. Both of them scoring 258. Both of them playing well in the playoff. But it's Tomas Leanderssen with a vital win for Team Europe. That could have been a 4-point Team USA lead. Instead, the picture now looks like this in the